Good morning and welcome to Motivational Mornings, the podcast that gets you going before you get going.
Good morning and welcome to Motivational Mornings. My name is Vivi alongside with my co-host Ryan. And today, this month, we're going to be reviewing the book of the month, which is Book Yourself Solid by Michael Porter. Now, this book is a lot of what it seems to be. It's a book about how to book yourself solid with clients, patients, and etc. for people in the small business era and people who are servicing people in small businesses. The history of the book is that Michael Port, the guy who wrote the book, lives in New York, and he caught the entrepreneurial bug early on as a kid. As his dad was a doctor growing up, and he saw how lucrative and also challenging the small business world could be. But mostly he enjoyed in seeing that his dad was his own boss, and he really liked that idea. Then Michael Port went to college and went to work for a business in sales, but quickly realized that he no longer wanted to work for anybody. He then started his own small business mentoring personal trainers in their quest to be better entrepreneurs, but he soon found that it wasn't easy to do that, and his schedule wasn't as booked as he wanted it to be. So he then went on to do what would change his career for the future. He made his quest or his goal to find out what small things would enable any small business entrepreneur or any person who wanted or needed clients or patients or etc. like that, what were the fundamental things enable them to have a full schedule? He then went on to make those things, and he found those key principles. And out of that accumulation of knowledge came this book, a book for people in that situation wanting to increase their client base, given tips and tricks that have been proven time and time again through Michael Port's now best-selling book, Book Yourself Solid, which we'll be reviewing today. So to begin, for my first point that I found from this book is that Michael makes it clear that when you have clients, it's best to go for quality. Quantity of clients is good, and it's great for people starting off. And I found that to be true thinking of where I'm going to be in the future. You want everyone, but at the end of the day, you want to be selective with who you're actually taking, because those patients or clients will show you or will be around you most, and that will affect your life. So his first point that Michael Port makes when starting off the book is that when you're dumping patients or when you're dumping clients, make sure that you don't do it very hurtfully. Try using phrases like, "I'm not the best person to serve you," or "I don't think we can make a good fit. I know someone close by who would give you exactly what you need." So make it obvious that in the world there's people who you're best suited to work towards and with, and people who you aren't. And that's not good or bad, it's just a reality. And as soon as you can understand and accept that, then you can move forward to making and maximizing that time efficiently.
What really drove that point home for me, Vivi, was the story Michael Porter had about the old man, the boy, and the donkey. So the story starts with the old man and the boy traveling across the country with a donkey. As they pass through the first town, the old man is riding the donkey and the boy's walking alongside him. The citizens of the town comment that, why is the old man riding the donkey? The boy's just a little kid. He should be the one on top of the donkey. So the old man hears that, and as they travel through the next town, they switch places. And now the boy is on top of the donkey. And as they pass through the town, they hear people say, why is the little boy on the donkey? He's a lot younger. He can walk. The old man should be the one riding the donkey. So the old man hears that, and then as they pass through the third town, they decide, okay, both the old man and the boy should be riding the donkey. And as they pass through the town, they hear people say, why is the old man and the boy both riding the donkey? They're going to be way too heavy for the donkey to carry. So the old man hears that, and now they keep traveling and they reach a river. So now this time, as they're crossing the bridge, the old man decides that both he and the boy should carry the donkey. And as they're crossing the bridge, the donkey's too heavy and it falls down the river and they end up losing him. So what's the moral of the story? Well, if you try and please everyone, you'll just end up losing your ass.
That's definitely true, Ryan. And the point with that story again is being able to choose your specific market that you're working with and optimally serve those people. It makes you have to be the big fish in the small pond as opposed to the small fish in the big pond. You want to be able to know that customer base, that niche group, so you can optimally serve them. And once you have dominated that small niche target market, then you can expand to different services and then eventually a larger market if you want to. That brings me on to my next point. Along with that small niche, the more bold you are and the concise and authentic your personal brand is for your business, the more you'll attract the people you're trying to work with. Immediately to my mind, I come to think of people like Gary Vaynerchuk. He's very bold and he's out there. But when you think about, branding and marketing for bigger companies and those kind of advertisements, VaynerMedia is one of the prime examples of who I would think I would go to if I was in a situation. And so it makes a good relationship and the good point of thinking when you know those niche people that you're going to work with, be bold and be yourself because you'll attract more people that are like you.
Before we continue about the book, I just want to mention that if you guys are liking it so far, you can head to audibletrial.com/motivational mornings to get a free trial of Audible. And this comes with a free audiobook of your choice. So you can choose Book Yourself Solid by Michael Porter. When you get to the sign up, they'll ask for a credit card, but they won't charge you for the first month. And if you don't like the service, feel free to cancel at any time and still get to listen to your free audiobook. One point that really stood out to me was to speak with your heart. He has a whole chapter on letting people know what you do for work. How do you describe what you do, what your business is? And he said one thing to note is when telling people about what you do is that you should be passionate about it. When people ask you about it, be excited when you tell them what you do. Because if you can't get excited about it, how is anyone else going to be excited? And why will they want to become a client of your business? Another point he mentioned in the book was all about networking. So Michael Porter says networking should be more like connecting. Instead of thinking what you can get out of the connection, you should be thinking, what can you offer other people? How can you help other people be successful? If you could do this, if you can help other people, the rest will come. If you're likable, everyone in the end will also come back to help you when you need it. And I just want to mention, don't forget about the informal networking opportunities as well. Often we see networking as these huge events where you go up to these strangers, these professionals, potential clients, but there's also informal networking. So Michael Porter describes informal networking as something that comes up that's a little more casual, such as like a chat in the grocery store. Maybe you meet someone at a coffee shop or exercising at the gym, or even speaking with your neighbor while walking your dog. They may not seem like it at first glance, but these are all networking opportunities. You never know who you're going to meet. Another quick piece of advice the book had to do with client service. So if you want to service your clients well, you have to remember people want to feel important. And what's a very simple way to make people feel important? Well, you can answer their emails and messages. For example, for emails, I have a 24-hour policy that I try and answer all my emails within 24 hours at the latest. And if for whatever reason I can't, I always make sure to set a reminder to answer the message later so I don't forget. People want to feel important. And if you could do that, people are a lot more likely to become your client.
My next point that I want to bring up, Ryan, is the point that Michael Porter says about the elevator speech. So for those of you who don't know, the elevator speech is a speech that's composed, and the thought process is, if you meet someone in the elevator, what 30-second pitch can you give them to let them know what you do? How can you convince them that you want to work with them, that they want to work with you? The point that Michael Port says is kill that speech for service professionals. It was not designed to be a tool for service professionals. The elevator speech was designed for VC pitching, for venture capital pitching, where you needed a larger company to give you a lot of money so that your business can survive and thrive. And they found that as a useful tool for weeding out people who didn't have a quick summary of what they did. But this is not, again, how Michael Port says, this is not how a relationship develops between a client and a service professional. You are trying to earn the status of a trusted advisor. You are not trying to create some new product like a metal detecting sandals or something. It's a totally different context and a totally different dynamic. And so the way to make relationships, well-formed relationships, is to have a conversation about the services and the products you do through a genuine conversation. Don't be a sales professional pitching for a venture capital product or something like that. Lastly, my point that I want to end off for today is one of the biggest problems service professionals face is the paradigm of trading your time for your money. And Ryan and I are kind of in this position now where we're both, Ryan at least is doing that now, and I'm going to be doing that in a year or so, is we are trading our time for money. And if you just focus on that and think about it, if all you ever do is trade your time for money, then your revenue will always be limited to how much you charge per hour. And so it's not maybe necessarily a thing you should think of changing now, but keep that in the back of your mind that long term, you have to have multiple ways to accrue revenue or to have income. And if you're just relying on how much you charge per hour, then that definitely limits you. That wraps up for Motivational Mornings episode today. Thank you for listening to us. If you'd like to check out this book, Book Yourself Solid by Michael Port, again, please visit audibletrial.com/motivational mornings to get your free trial once you signed up for the month membership, and then you can cancel. No worries. And that wraps up our episode for today. Have an amazing day.